Prosecutors argued Meta knowingly put profits before the protection of children.
The conduct, as I said, was repeated again and again over an entire decade in a kid's life. That's forever. That it was done and made with knowledge that serious harm would result, and it did.
We believe the evidence has shown that Meta works incredibly hard to protect users, including teens.
In accordance with the civil penalty instruction and the instructions as a whole, how many willful violations did Meta commit by engaging in unfair or deceptive trade practice? The jury's answer is 37,500.
Big tech critics hail big tobacco moment in landmark social media verdict against Meta, the parent company of Facebook, and Google, intentionally being addictive and depressing and controlling. Yeah, and parents let their kids do that. I'm not defending big tech, but once you go down this slippery slope of, oh, the way they did it, yeah, and you let your kids do that. Give me a break. What's sick is Trump doesn't have Elon Musk on his new big tech board. He's got the good guys off the board and has put his arch enemy, Zuckerberg, on the board and a bunch of other garbage. And people are like, oh, there you are, throwing Trump under the bus again. Zuckerberg got $400 million to create the databases of dead people and illegals and all that to steal the 2020. Okay, fine, I love Zuckerberg if Trump says so. Got Todd Blanche, a Democrat, run the DOJ. This ain't good. And I'm going to bet you about it. Meta must pay $375 million for violating New Mexico's law in child exploitation case.
Companies have been very effective in using something called Section 230, which is a law in this country that protects the companies who have social media from being liable for things that their users post on the site. What these two cases focused on is how the company manipulated the algorithm and developed products like Infinite Scroll in order to give kids an addictive product that would keep them on the site and keep them coming back. And what ended up happening is those kids would use those addictive products and then ultimately have suicidal thoughts or potentially body dysmorphia, or they'd be getting unsolicited messages from child predators. And the company is knowingly, according to documents revealed in both of these cases, understands that this is a problem that they have. And both juries found that they did not do enough to stop this. So again, a huge landmark here, not for the dollar figure, but for the significance of the rulings.
Government shouldn't be involved in the First Amendment. We shouldn't have internet. All over the world, they're bringing internet IDs. They are protecting kids. Hey, you put the parental controls on or don't let your kids on devices. Control what you give your kids, folks. It's not the state's job. Because Zuckerberg's a predator preying on your children. Blackburn's Trump America AI Act repeals Section 230, expands AI liability, and mandates age verification. No, it's the AI Dictatorship Act that Trump tried to get passed before he got back in office. Republicans did, but he pushed. And then he signed an executive order on that makes big tech and AI above the law. Nobody can sue them. Congress can't. Local legislatures can't challenge them. Citizens can't sue them. And then the executive branch can let AI do whatever it wants. It's Congress has created the AI liability protection dictatorship bill to enforce Trump's executive order that is wrong. That's the real headline. Overhyped. This is some good news. New polls suggest Americans are shunning AI as a breaking news source. They're rejecting it. They don't want it. Well, I don't just believe polls. Oh, I like the proof. The biggest video generating tool is no more. Is the AI bubble bursting? ChatGPT has shut down its AI system because not enough people are using it. It costs too much money, and it's a failure. People are sick of it. U.S. bans foreign-made consumer routers over cybersecurity concerns. I told people decades ago China has all these remote control kill chips and everything. Now it's all admitted. And then it just continues. Apple forces UK iPhone age checks in iOS 6.26.4. Yeah, the UK, Australia, they're all making Apple and other companies do age verifications. Hey, then adults have to do it. And now it's Internet ID that in the UN Gates-run standardization will be used for the cashless society, the social credit score, the grid. So people are like, don't you want to not let kids look at porn? Yeah, if you're dumb enough to give your kid a phone that doesn't have parental controls, you should be thrown off a bridge.
You couldn't hear me. My bad. I'll start over. Welcome to the fucking show. Jesus Christ. It is March 27th, 2026. Thank you for being here. I apologize. My switch was off. I got a kill switch on it so I could talk to my guests when, videos are running and stuff. So I apologize for that. That's my dipshitism. That I'm really good at it. If you haven't been here if you've been here before, I'm a dipshit. Okay. I'm kind of retarded. So anyway, let's get to this. Thank you for being here. As you know, we're getting conflicting statements between the Trump White House and Iranians and the warmongers and the people that really know what's going on, like the Green Berets or the Navy SEALs or the Army veterans that did 30 years in service, or whatever. We're getting a lot of conflicting statements, and what it looks like right now is if we don't get a hold of this right away, I mean, we're already screwed. We're going to have famine and all kinds of stuff in the next maybe 6 months. By the time crops roll around to next season, this is the truth. This is not hyperbolic. This is just the truth. By the time the crops roll around to the next season, so that would be September, October, as stuff comes off the vine or out of the ground, as that next planting season comes in, there's going to be no fertilizer. And so when there's no fertilizer, that means you don't have enough food. That means you don't have no beef. That means your cattle starts dying if you don't have food for them. All those things. It's a chain reaction of what's going to come if this didn't get a hold on real fast. And I don't think we can. I mean, I'm trying to be optimistic. As you know, I do my best to be optimistic, but really what I want to do is just scream at the top of my lungs, because what I see going on right now is not good. Not good. So so thanks for being here. Subscribe to the channel. Go to My Patriot Supply in this. If you go in the show notes, in the description, there's a link for My Patriot Supply. If you could go there, and you know what? It's probably the best time is right now to buy something from My Patriot Supply. I think it's 50% off, 48%, whatever, percent off on anything you buy right now. And right now, of all the times, now would be the time to buy a water filter system or a generator that runs your whole house, runs off of solar panels. They have these panels that open up and they have extra batteries. They give you an extra battery with it. So you're charging one while the other, you can rotate them, and, or maybe you're out somewhere and you have, it's dark and you need two batteries. You're pulling a lot of power. There's all kinds of great things. And by the way, with My Patriot Supply, they have this thing called pay as you go, or pay, you pay one payment of like 6 payments, whether it's restorable food, a generator, whatever it is. And then you can pay it in payments. Doesn't matter what your credit's like, as long as you have a bank card or whatever that, that it's automatically taken from your account every month. And then you can have, whether it's 6 months of restorable food or a generator or a water filter system, which we may need. If you listen to what they're talking about, there's a high probability that one of the things that they'll do is they'll take out the grid, or they'll take out the water, or they'll take out the power, or they'll take out the processing plants. And because now we've drew first blood, right? And we've hit their, what's it called? Refineries. And so they hit Qatar's, we didn't, Israel hit the refineries over there, the main ones. They're talking about it's going to be 5 to 7 years before it's repaired. And so we're on the chopping block. So anyway, check that out. I'm not big on the advertisement part of this, but I need to get better at it, because it's the thing that keeps the lights on when, it's the thing that keeps us going when our server goes down or whatever, or we need a new monitor or whatever the hell goes on around here because stuff does break. So anyway, please support the channel. Thank you. And you know what, by the way, one other thing, if we could start making enough money, and we don't need a lot, we just need a little bit of money, we're going to get reporters and some show hosts. And what we want to do is we want to have the show run more than just my show 4 times a week. We'd like to have some reporters that go out and do reports on different things. I'd have somebody out there right now doing reports on all the bullshit going on right now, but I just don't have the funds to roll with it. And I'm not going to take Qatari or Israel money or none of that stuff. I'm not doing that. I'll only work with the American people that support me through my stuff that I sell. So anyway, that's enough of that. All right, where are we at? Protect the kids, right? That's easy, right? You think that it's easy, but let me just say, I'm guilty of it. Maybe I have a busy lot going on, and or maybe we're going on a long trip, and the kid's in the car, and he's just in the back seat going crazy. So we give him an iPad, and then he starts watching iPad. And then he starts getting addicted to the iPad, and then all he wants to do is the iPad, all the time, the iPad. When you take the iPad from him, he throws holy hell shit fits. I'm guilty of that. I've done it in the past. We've really pulled back from that with our youngest kid. Although he is very smart, so he has really learned a lot from research. This kid's crazy. This kid is smart. He was talking to the dentist about some pathologist, something like that, with the dentist yesterday. He was having a conversation. He's 7, having a conversation with the dentist about her, I don't know if it's her table or her, whatever it is. Maybe it's the equipment table, whatever it was. He knew everything about it, because what he does, instead of watching videos or whatever, Roblox or whatever, he does stuff like educates himself. He reads 10th grade English, so he can really, he teaches himself all this stuff. And I'm like, that's good. But beside the point, if you're one of those parents that do that, you might want to take a look at what's going on, at least with the parent controls like that report was talking about. When you don't have, like these Roblox and, and Facebook and Instagram and TikTok and all this stuff. And I know that they say, oh, you can't get on it unless you're of age, but all they do is they just put a different birth date, and then they can get right on the platform. So it's just something to pay attention to, our kids, man, because look what we just been exposed to in the last, it's been going on forever, but just in the last couple months since we started going through the Epstein files and all that stuff, what like really has happened. I mean, if you could get through all the bullshit and get down to the nuts and bolts of it, it's pretty horrifying stuff when you think about it. 13-year-old kids, 12-year-old kids, 10-year-old kids, 7-year-old kids. I mean, it's horrible. It is. It's bad. It's bad. And we're going to get into it. I'm waiting on the right time for me to get, because I got to do the research for it, and I'm just too damn busy to really do a deep dive. Maybe I'm going to talk to one of the people that is in, or a couple of people that's in the podcast world, and see if we could do some joint venture stuff or something, because all of us have it, and we're all pretty much saying the same thing, is we need to research it and do deep dives into stuff, but it's hard to do it by yourself, And I have kids, so it makes it even harder in a full-time job. So anyway, so if you go to my Patriots plan, then I wouldn't have to go to work, right? No, okay. Anyway, all right, let's get to this. Where are we at? All right, what are we doing tonight? Iran war's heating up. We got a few clips about Joe Kent. If you listen to what he's saying, he's making complete sense. And if you're one of those people that thinks that he's a Qatari or he's part of the racist coalition or whatever the hell kind of bullshit they're saying, you may be wrong, because Joe Kent's 11 tour, 6 Bronze Stars veteran. Green Beret, highly decorated, highly respected in the community of military community. I mean, this dude is top notch. And the reason why he stepped down or resigned was to bring the light to what's happening in the White House with Donald Trump and Israel. And so any way you swing the bat, that's it. I mean, he did that. I guess you can almost call him a whistleblower if you think about it, because what he's doing is he's exposing without breaking confidence of highly classified information, which he's not going to do. Seen him on a bunch of different shows, podcasts, and different things like that. He's not breaking the confidence of the military or DNI or whatever, but he is letting us know exactly what's going on from the perspective that he can let us know. And so I'm keeping my eye on this, and we're going to keep our eye on it, because I want to find out what the real truth is. Because if we listen to one person or another person, they give you their version of it. But when you have a guy that's out on doing the media tour, and his story doesn't change, and it hasn't, story hasn't changed a bit. He's not like reading from a script, then you know that he's telling the truth, and what is going on in there is not the business, if you know what I mean. So we're going to get into some of that, and we're going to talk about Iran war. We're going to talk about the famine. I think we need to really stay focused on where we going when we have these issues going on, because like if you're not preparing yourself right now for what's to come, whether it's an invasion from China, or sleeper cells from Iran, or famine from the whole shit and shaboodle, whatever it is. If you're not preparing yourself, the only one you're harming is you and your children. You got to be prepared, regardless. There's an old saying. I had an old guy that I was in the 12-step program years and years and years and years ago, and he used to carry a book around, and he'd always say, you know what, John, I'd rather have it and not need it than need it and not have it. And that's exactly how I feel about it. I'd rather make sure that I have exactly what I need so that I can be prepared, versus not having it and having to figure it out for me and my kids, my wife, and my community. And and you should be building communities really right now. You should be really digging in with your neighbors that you trust, that and you should probably be doing it as a community, like the person on the block at the edge of the block, at the beginning of the block, he should be watched for people coming up the street. It could get to that place soon. If it turns into famine, let me just say this, and maybe I'll bring up not today. I'd have to go to the old my old system and pull it from archives, but we did a couple shows on what happens at 3 days of no food and 5 days, or if there's no gas or there's no water, whatever it was. We did a deep dive on it. I don't know, it's been a bunch of years now. I think it was 2022, maybe. It's all on Rumble, by the way. You can find it on there. But my point is, what happens to people, their brains, after 3 days of no food, really tells you everything you know. And people get very animalistic really fast. And 5 days and 10 days, they start eating people. You know what I mean? So, and I'm not saying that to sound gruesome or whatever. I'm just giving you the facts. You got to be prepared. We have a garden. So, I mean, even if all else fails, we have at least a garden with, some basic necessities so we can get by. You know what I mean? Anyway, all right. Let's go. What are we going to do? I got a kick out of this because these fucking people are just so retarded. I tell you, they're just retarded. Why would you not want Charlie Kirk's murder to be investigated by everybody to get to the bottom of it? Why would you not? There's only one reason why you would not want that. And it's because you have something to hide. I mean, that's the only thing I can think of. Maybe I'm off. And maybe I'm off. Maybe you can hit me up in the comments and tell me how off I am. But I would think that if you're talking about if you're talking about, excuse me, if you're talking about, I don't want somebody investigating the murder of my friend because of what of the because they've got somebody that we're gonna railroad to take the fall for this because it's clear he's a patsy. Obviously, it's all clear. It's very clear that he's a patsy, and they didn't take the shot, and we got documented evidence that it was different than that, and it was two-shooter. All the stuff, right? All the stuff that we're going to get to in the next. I'm going to check my sound real quick because I had that problem in the beginning. Okay, it's working. But so we had we know, and I guess I'll play a piece of it, but I'm going to save it for another day. I'll play a piece of it. But right now, let's listen to what Turning Point USA is talking about people investigating Charlie Kirk's murder. I mean, it's ridiculous. Like, listen, if somebody assassinates me on live broadcast TV, I want every one of you to turn over every stone. I'll say it right now, every stone, until you know for sure exactly what happened. Don't stop. Go max. I mean, just period. Don't listen to anybody because listen, you want to know exactly what it is, and it's we know who it is, but we know who it is. We know where we're at. We know. But we're in this quinkydink right now. So, are we allowed to say it, or are we not? You know what I mean? So anyway, let's listen to what these dipshits are talking about real quick, and then I'll be right back. Welcome to the channel.
Some people are so obsessed with these same conspiracies that they concoct for every other thing that ever happens. And so they have to shove it into this one too, because they care more about their conspiracy theories than about the person who murdered my friend facing justice. I am fed up with it.
Yeah, and you should be. And this is, I mean, this is a tough job for us today, to be honest, because this is really personal. I have been open to everything. I think, candidly, I don't get enough credit for even the fact that I shared these group chats in the first place. We shared a lot of information about trans, about Charlie, how Charlie was more concerned about than any other community about the trans coming after him. You want to know the truth? That's actually the truth. I heard over the course of the last 2 years of Charlie's life, probably about 50 references of how he knew the trans Tifa was going to come after him. And he was worried about that. That's the truth. Never mentioned one time about the Jews. Okay? Never once. And here's why it's so frustrating is because there is going to be even more evidence that is presented to the public in May at the evidentiary hearing, okay? And it's a mountain of evidence, some of which has been made public, some of which has not been made public yet. And the prosecution is going to lay out its case against Tyler Robinson. And I'm told it's a whopper. I'm told they've got this guy dead to rights. And meanwhile, you have government officials that are now saying on the record to journalists, they are willing to testify on behalf of the defense to get Tyler Robinson off the hook for something that he did. And so the level of betrayal that I currently feel is dramatic and extreme. The level of just frustration, the idiocy that is on full display, we have to call it out, because if this ends up screwing up the jury pool, if this ends up in some ways getting a hung jury, getting this case thrown out, or even just getting the death penalty off the case, off the potential list of consequences here, I'm not going to be happy with that.
Yeah, so I got something going on here. Let's see what's going on here. Stand by. I gotta fix this real quick. See what's happening. One of my streams it says it's down. says it's going, so I don't know. All right, well, try and reconnect here. Can you see me? Let's see. Let me look. Let me see if we lost. Let's see if I'm still alive here. Hold on. Okay. All right. Yeah, whatever. We'll figure it out. Looks like it's good. It's going. All right. So yeah. So Charlie Kirk murder is going to be one of those hot topics that we're going to get into in the next few days. I'm here tomorrow. I may be here Sunday. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. I'm not sure, but for sure Monday. And we're going to get into all this stuff. I've been doing a bunch of research on it because I think it's necessary. It's very necessary for There's I'm live, so. All right, let's get into this. Let's just keep it moving here. Remember when this happened? For those of you that don't know, this happened right after Charlie Kirk was killed, murdered, assassinated. They didn't know what happened yet, and this one kid seen it. He was from TPUSA, and he came out, and they grabbed him and got in an argument with him and told him to shut up and stop talking about it. Do you remember that? I want to remind you of that. Hold on.
Yes, you're live right now. Well, we're recording. I don't know if we're live because of the cell service. Hang on.
In probably the third. Okay. I was standing from probably the third row in the bottom. I saw hit. I heard the shot ring out. I looked to my left, and then I looked over to my right. I saw him slump over in his chair forward. He slumped over. He had blood coming from the left side of his neck down his shirt, and he slumped over and he was carried off. Get off me! Get off me!
Emotions are running high right now. This guy says a man died today. This is unconfirmed. That's what this eyewitness testimony just said. Everybody's in shock, including myself. Where's your mama? Oh.
Anyway, my take on that was right away they were doing controlling the media right away. Turning Point USA was controlling because all those red shirts were volunteers or people that work for Turning Point, and they were all doing the don't talk to anybody, all that stuff. And I don't know if it's because of the severity of Charlie Kirk being assassinated, and they had a very good idea of who did it, Israel, or if it was they were told to not talk to anybody about anything. I don't know, but the whole thing is just weird. And when you look at the details around it, the trajectory of the bullets, and how the lies that they've been telling us about him being shot with a 30-06 from 144 yards and all that stuff, right? All the stuff. And then, we looking at it, everybody, all the independent journalists looking at it and coming up with the theories that don't match the theory of the police department or the FBI or whatever. That tells you everything you need to know. When you think about it, it does. It just tells you everything. I mean, and the truth is what they've done is lied to us all. We'll play a couple of these. We'll play just a small bit, couple. Just a couple. I'm not going to play all of it right now. We're going to save it for later on this week. this weekend, probably tomorrow or maybe Sunday or Monday. I may do a stream on Monday. We'll see how it goes, or on Sunday. We'll see how it goes. I'm not clear yet. I'm not sure what I'm going to do here, but let's pull this. Stand by.
We'll get back to this in a second too, but I've compiled a whole bunch of files
Just bear
together here
with us
for you
here.
so that we can kind of go
We're
through
gonna
this
watch
together
this.
and look at all of this and see how it happened. But 3 patsies, 2 shooters, 2 distractions. 3 patsies, yellow, LC center, right there, right there. 2 shooters, those are the red. 2 distractions, 1 right there, 1 right there. Okay, that was an immediate on the ground distraction. This was an immediate on the news distraction to misdirect about false information. All right, so all of this was playing in play at one time, and this is why I'm calling it an operation. All right. All right. Now that we understand that, and I am very happy that we are all going to be on the same page here, let's get back to it. The 3 patsies: Tyler Robinson, pistol patsy, and a cell phone gun guy. Now, I'm going to make this quite simple for you guys. I'm not going to make it very difficult for you because we don't have a lot of time. I want to get right to it, show you exactly what you need to know. And I'm going to do many videos covering this. This is just going to be one of the many videos that I do. I'm going to keep covering it until it sticks, until people get this. But I'm going to prove to you that the 2 shooters actually assassinated Charlie Kirk. I'm going to show you how both of them actually did it. I'm going to show you how both shooters were to cover for the 3 patsies, what their positions were and how they were covering for those 3 patsies. And I'm going to show you how the 2 distractions played into all of this to give the perception that the public now has, which is completely wrong. It is completely false. And I'm going to show you how they actually created this deception to make sure that you kind of stay dumbed down a little bit. Okay. So as you can see here, I have the proof of location so you guys can see for the infrared beam and all that good stuff. Some of the detailed points that Charlie was shot twice. I'm going to show you that the BA sniper covered for the cell phone patsy, the palm shooter covered for the LC, and the palm shooter covered for the pistol patsy as well. Okay. I'm going to show you clear evidence of a lot of different things, but I have a lot of notes here. All right. So we're going to get past all of these notes right here. Even if we don't do it all in one video, guess what? We're going to continue working at this. I want you to just join me. Join me on We Are Not Going to Mars on TikTok, and we're going to continue talking about this until we're blue in the face. All right, so let's get to it. All right, guys. Now, as I said, everybody is assuming that this guy right here on the LC, okay, Tyler Robinson, took a shot and hit Kirk right here in the middle, hit Kirk right here in the middle of the, what do you call this thing? We'll say courtyard because that's what it's called on Google Maps. So we'll call it the courtyard. Hit Kirk right here in the middle of the courtyard. Now, that is a very long shot. It's not crazy long of a shot, but it's a decent distance, about a football field and a half away, to hit somebody, you know, square in the neck. What we realized is a lot of that data was wrong. The type of weapon that they were saying was used was just way too powerful, and it literally would have just, it would have been a really, really a way worse day than what it was for Charlie Kirk. So what did I find out? What I ended up finding out is that none of this happened the way they said it happened. And as a matter of fact, this person right here, there's no way that this person could have been the shooter. Why? Because this person on the BA building was the shooter. This is who shot and killed Charlie Kirk. This is the angle that they did it from right here. This is who shot and killed Charlie Kirk. This is who shot and killed Charlie Kirk right here. This was the first shot. This was the second shot. Again, this was the first shot. This was the second shot. And I'm going to prove this to you, okay? This person right here was nothing more than a patsy. This person right here, nothing more than a patsy. This person is cell phone gun guy. This person right here is pistol patsy, okay? This is distraction number 1. This is George Zen right here. This is distraction number 2. This is Phil Lyman on TV, and we'll get to his interview in a second, okay? And of course, back here, the infamous Tyler Robinson, who is being splashed all over the media as the person who's, you know, caused all of this. Tyler Robinson did not cause this, guys. I don't know to what point he has an involvement, but I know it is not nefarious in a sense that he has caused any kind of real crime. I'm just going to be honest with you. He didn't shoot anybody. He didn't do anything. He was there. As far as I know of, he was in the area. We'll just say, I'm not even going to say there. He was in the area. And that's not a crime. As far as I can tell, it's definitely not a crime. I believe that he and others were coerced to go to the area that day, the patsies. I believe that they were groomed on the expectations of what they were to provide that day, and the patsies as well as the distractions. And I believe everybody played their role. I believe everybody did what they were supposed to do, including the 2 red dots. And I'm going to prove that to you now. I know you guys are sick and tired of waiting, so let me go ahead and get to proving.
Yeah, so that's one piece of a very long, drawn out. I mean, it's a couple hours, but I split it up in pieces. That basically tells you that there was 3 patsy, or what do you say? 2 shooters, 3 patsies, or 2 patsies and 3 distractions, or 2 or something like that, whatever it is. And so I'm going to show you that Charlie Kirk was shot from above in the back and in the front in the chest. So all the stuff that we've heard doesn't make sense, but now that the way he breaks this down, he breaks it down in a way to where it makes sense, the trajectory, the way that his body moves, and all those things. So let me roll this real quick, and we play this for you. Stand by.
A lot to get to, man. I want to get deeper into how Charlie Kirk passed away. I want to get deeper into the specifics. In this part, we're going to cover the 2 distractions. We're going to cover the LC passing. We know that was Tyler Robinson versus the BA sniper, the person who actually unalived Charlie Kirk. We're going to go over how the entry came in from behind the right ear and exited up here out of the left neck area, right above the collar area right there. We're going to go.
So what he's saying is, and we'll get to it in a minute, that he's saying that he was shot from behind, and the blood splatter that you've seen, which we all said this early on, that was an exit wound. He was also shot in the chest, but there was an exit wound from the neck. So that's what he's saying.
Go through a part of that theory that we also need to kind of unpack a little bit is the high wall that is behind Charlie Kirk. So if it came in a downward trajectory, okay, there's a high wall that's directly behind them. So we're gonna actually open up maps. I'm gonna drop you guys down on the ground. I'm gonna show you guys how to do that. So I haven't seen any of the YouTubers, podcasters, or anybody out there really gonna show you what I'm about to show you guys today. But we're gonna break it down. I'm gonna show you exactly who unalived Charlie Kirk and exactly where they were when they did it. Even more importantly, that's information that's not being shared by anybody, and everybody that's out there that's doing a good job doing investigative journalism, trying to get to the truth. My hat's off to you. So we're also going to go over the angle. I'm going to show you guys the specific clues that gave exactly the sniper's location away. We're going to go over the infrared beam, the muzzle flash reflection, and we're even going to do the still frame of the bullet itself, following the path of the infrared beam. I know it's crazy, it's a lot, but we're going to cover it today. And what else we're going to? Oh, I'm also going to close out with showing you how Charlie Kirk was not shot just one time in the back of the head here, which I believe severed. It was a gruesome. Nobody should have to go out like that. What they did to him was absolutely horrible, but I believe they did a lot of damage. I'm going to show you how that damage coming down, what it did to his neck, what it did to the upper top left part of his body. And I'm going to show you how that damage attributed to what we were actually seeing in the video. So hopefully they don't take my video down. I'm going to try my best to show you, and we'll see what happens. I'm going to try my best, and hopefully YouTube and TikTok and all these places don't take it down. But yeah, I'm going to show you that when that came in towards the top, he also got shot a second time. I'm going to show you. He did get shot from the front, guys. He absolutely got shot from the front. And I can show you exactly where he got shot from the front. So we're going to go over that as well, too. And yeah, and also, guys, let me tell you why I'm doing this. I'm doing this because I'm coming out with a book next week on the 10th of October called Planned. That's the name of my book. is my book is coming out, but I'm coming out with a platform. Now, those of you who know, TikTok has been, it's been sold. There's going to be a lot of things you can't say on TikTok anymore. They're refactoring the algorithm right now as we speak. They've already started rolling out some things now. With that being said, I have developed what I believe is the next iteration of social media past TikTok. I don't think anyone in the US has developed what I have developed. That's why I'm getting a patent on what I've developed. And I want you guys to join me on that platform. So I'll be launching my first version of it through my book coming up here next week, and you guys will be able to join me, over there, and we'll be able to discuss things and talk about my book and whatever else we want to talk about in an unfiltered way. And you don't have to have any fear of being taken down for having a certain viewpoint or a certain belief point. As long as everything is, of course.
And we'll get into all that later. I'll post him up so you can, if you're interested in going on his platform or whatever like that, we'll do that. And if you're interested in his book, we'll do that as well. Let me get to the trajectory of the where he was shot.
All right, guys, what is going on? Listen, welcome back. Let's get right into it, guys. I don't want to waste your time here. So look, let's start off with the two distractions, right? The two distractions are George Zinn and Phil Lyman. Now, as you can see, our two distractions are the blue dots. This blue dot right here, this is George Zinn. This one right here is Phil Lyman. Now, mind you, you see this little gray walkway right here. This is a balcony. This is about one story up off the ground from where this is. Mind you, this right here is the LC Center right behind that location. This is one story higher than this. This point of the LC Center is one story higher than this, okay? So let's keep all that into consideration. George Zinn is down here on the ground. Phil Lyman is right here. And Tyler Robinson is right here, okay? That's exactly what's going on in this picture. And of course, we know that Charlie Kirk is right here in the middle. There you go. All right. So as I told you in the last video before it went off, this right here is the second shooter, and this one right here is the first shooter. And the first shooter right here is the BA sniper. Call it the BA because this is what the building is actually called here. This is the administration building here on UVU. So from what I understand, I believe that's the administration building. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong on that. But for now, we're going to call it the BA sniper. So if we're taking a look at this now, look at it closely, guys. Again, this is the first shooter. This is the second shooter. Why does it look like this? It's very simple, guys. And if you didn't cover, follow me in the first video, I'll cover for you real quickly here. This shooter right here, okay, right here, was the first shooter that took out Charlie Kirk. This was the shot that went behind his head and down into the to the neck and shoulder area and came out the front of the neck area. This shooter right here shot him front center mass, okay? And this was a part of his security detail, all right? This guy right here, one of the three patsies, is the cell phone gun guy. This patsy, well, actually, we have another patsy back here that you guys already, of course, know, named Tyler Robinson. And then we have another patsy that people really don't know much about. He was just seen running with a handgun, a rather large handgun. And I believe he was just another patsy put there just in case the story wanted to go in that direction. So that's what they do sometimes. They'll add, a bunch of patsies on the ground so that depending on whichever way the public decides to take the story, they can kind of shift and mold their narrative, based on that. So, and they also have a couple of shooters. So to make sure that their target is absolutely taking out maybe 2 or 3, shooters. So, and it's always the shooters that are going to take the shots that are the trained professionals. It's never going to be, never, ever, ever going to be the patsies, okay? The patsies do not take the shots. If they are given weapons, they're fake weapons. It is not real bullets because they don't want to risk ruining the operation. The operation is supposed to be executed by the actual shooters. Okay. Now, what I want to explain to you guys is, now that that's over with, what I want to explain to you guys, and this video is going to be a little bit long, so just kind of bear with me, if you will. You're going to be able to understand exactly what went down here so that you're not lied to anymore about this, okay? We're going to talk about how the LC building, and I'm going to show you here on the map. Let's go to the map. All right. This is UVU Courtyard, guys. This is what it looks like, okay? Now I'm gonna show you a little trick here. This is, anybody can do this, all right? Go here and click on Street View. That's all you gotta do, All right. Now you'll notice when we do that, we get all these little circles that are here, right? These are the different areas that we can drop down on the ground, the street area there in the parking lot at the front. That's going to be crucial. I'm going to show you guys something there. These are the areas we can drop down on the ground and we can start to see a lot of what's kind of going on here. So if we do that, like this one right here, let's drop down. Not hard at all. Anybody can do this. So look, when we open it up, it shows you what direction we're pointing in with the little arrow right there in case you don't know how to use this. In case nobody, some people don't know how to use Google Maps, so do not make fun of people, but we're learning together, right? So let's be very clear, okay? Let me bring the graphic back up real quick for you guys so you guys can see it one more time. All right, we're going to be very clear about this. All right, so we're standing right there in the courtyard. This is where Tyler Robinson was. This is where Charlie Kirk was, okay? So let's go back to our map here and we can take a look at that. I'm doing all this on my cell phone, guys, so the FBI should be ashamed of themselves. But that would put Tyler Robinson right up here on this building somewhere, right there, okay? Pretty high area. Now, this shot is doable and definitely a doable shot. It's a far shot, as you can see. And let's spin it around there so you guys can see where Charlie Kirk was. He was right here. Now they've put up a memorial here that quick. They've seen all this over and put a memorial up. That's another conversation. But he was right there, okay? Now, what I'm telling you is, and also if we're sitting down here, we're looking around, George Zinn is around here. Right up here on this balcony is Phil Lyman, right up in this area right here. So when Phil Lyman says that he heard the shot and it sounds like it came over his back or right above his head, this is right around where he was at, okay? So now that we understand that and we understand what's going on here and you have a better view of what's going on, I can show you so much more. Okay, now let's go over here. I want to show you guys something. I'm going to zoom out. And remember I told you, I said, here we go. I said that the sniper, the BA sniper, actually shot from right here, okay? And I meant exactly what I said. This is where the BA sniper shot from, right here. And it was the hardest thing ever to get a good angle to show you guys that, but let me drop down and show you a couple different things, right? So first of all, it's beautiful campus. Now, this is an older picture. This is from 2017. You'll just notice that that white building is not there at all. Everything else still kind of remains the same, and structurally from this point forward is still exactly the same, okay? Nothing has changed. Now, let me show you guys something. We're going to move over actually one location real quick. And listen, this is good for you guys to be able to see so you can, learn how to do this yourself. What I want to show you here while we're here, though, is look at this wall. Do you see this solid wall? This means that Charlie would have been sitting right here on the ground. Now, he was up on a rather high podium. That's a topic for another conversation, too. He was up on what I would call, it kind of felt like a kill box, to be honest with you. It was just seated rather high, rather weird. And I think I know why it was seated that way, but we'll get into that later. So he was sitting right about here, okay? Literally right here. Now, with him sitting here, you notice that there is not much area to have behind him for somebody to shoot from behind him. And what we were getting a lot of is people were posting photos of a flash that was coming from right here. I have actually I'm going to explain to you how that flash got there. We have a lot of information that was going on from Charlie's right-hand side that suggested that Charlie did not get actually shot from over here. As we see, they try to tell us that Charlie got shot from up here. He never got shot from up here. We have the evidence that he actually got shot from right here, coming from in this direction, but in a downward angle. So as we looked at it, there's nobody on the steps that could have done it. There's nobody on these steps that could have done it. There's nobody on this walkway that could have done it. Okay, we can get up on this walkway too. Come on, let's go ahead and get up there together. So I like this view too. This is a nice view. Oh, this is inside, sorry. There we go. Let's get up on this walkway. Oh, still inside. Come on now. There it is. This one right here. There we go. Beautiful view. All right. Now this is where the vehicles were parked that took Charlie off. And it's a shame they didn't have an ambulance on standby. Topics for a different day. And this is basically the view from the walk up here, okay? So there wouldn't have been anybody up here kind of, shooting at them. Now, coincidentally, this picture does.
So I just want to be clear. The reason why I'm showing you all this stuff is these are the things that people don't tell you when they're talking about these shootings or, blah, 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 all this stuff. And I think to understand the geographics here, like where everything's at, is very helpful when we start talking about who shot him, where he was shot, how many times he was shot, where he shot from, and all that stuff. So he's laying it out for you so you understand exactly what's going on. So just bear with him here for a minute. This part is almost over.
Give us this piece of the building here and this slant down, but this is not the view that we need. It's close to the view that we need, but it's not the view that we need. If you'll see right here, this view is right in alignment though. I mean, get you zoomed out there with right here. What we're trying to see is actually right here. So that's what I want to actually show you guys. I want to show you guys how I actually found the sniper. And I'm going to show you in quick fashion how I found them. So we played around a little bit on the ground. We've kind of walked around a little bit. You've seen a few things. You understand kind of the lay of the land. This is a very generic, very quick fashion video. We can go over this in a live if you want on TikTok later on. I have no problems doing that with you guys. But I just wanted to give you a layout of what it looks like so you understand what you're dealing with, okay? This high wall that's behind Charlie, and we have to find where the angle is. Let's get back down here again so you can see it one more time. We have to find out where the angle is that could be behind somebody who's sitting right here. If Charlie's sitting here, how could he be hit from up and from the top of his right ear to go in a downward direction into his body, okay? Now, for the folks that are suggesting that it was the cameraman that were right here, it was not these cameramen. I'm not going to say that nothing nefarious was happening, but I'm going to say that these cameramen were not responsible for unaliving Charlie Kirk, not at all. The first shot, I have everything that you need in this video. The first shot was taken from the BA sniper, and the second shot was taken from right around here, which if we look at it out in the grass here, they had like a little fence thing set up and all of that stuff. So basically the second shot was kind of taken from almost the front of him a little bit right there, like a little bit off to his left-hand side a little bit. So, and hence why when his shirt got hit, it actually went up like this because his shirt was already pooped. I'm giving away too much. Anyway, I'm going to show you guys in a second. So are we cool with the campus? You guys understand how this is all laid out? If you look up here, you can kind of see now that is the thing that I was kind of wondering about right here is how is the sniper able to see over these trees? I would love for somebody to go on campus if they can for me and give me a video. Go down here to Charlie's Memorial because now there's a memorial there. Oh, I didn't notice that before. But now there's a memorial that's there. And the memorial that's there, if you could take a picture like with the trees before they lose all their leaves because we're in October now, I would love to see that line of sight to see if you could even see beyond that. That's why I know that Tyler Robinson, this shot would have been, impossible for somebody of his for somebody of his training level. So now that we're cool with that, let's move on, guys. I'm going to actually show you some stuff together. Let's look at it together. All right. Now I want you guys to see where that circle is. That's where the action is going to be. This is where you're going to see an actual flash. This flash that they're showing, and from this low point that they're showing it at, it obviously below the flash is a little bit higher than the person who's actually taking this footage. I want to easily prove to you that where this flash is coming from, because we're going to couple this flash with the bullet and with the actual infrared beam itself. Now, watch this. I'm just going to press play here so you guys can kind of see it. There you go. Now I'm going to zoom in so you can see it a little bit better. Look. See that it's a quick little blink. Look how quick it is. That right there. Did you see it? One more time. Right there. Boom. All right. So that little blink that you just saw, that is the actual flash that's coming from the muzzle of the sniper rifle. Now, why is that important? That's super important. Super, super, super important. I want you to remember that. Now, we're going to go from the muzzle flash. We're going to find you a still frame of the actual bullet itself. Now, this is a little bit difficult to watch, but I'm going to show you where the actual bullet is. Of course, this is highly blurred out, so you can't see anything and make anything out, but we're going to go through this together real quick. And I'm keeping the sound off purposely so you guys can't, so it doesn't get any violations. Now, I have a arrow here pointing to it because I want you guys to be able to see it. Let's go over there and look at it. Let's see if we can see it with this arrow turned up like that. There we go. It's literally for a second. There you go. There it is. And this is why I did it like this too. I'm just going to let it play one time so you guys can actually see where the arrow's at. Just look at where the arrow's at. There, I could show you in slow motion too. That way, you guys can actually know where the actual bullet is at yourself. You don't have to worry about somebody else showing you. Now, there's better renderings, but I can't get them past the sensors without blurring it tremendously. And you can kind of see it go by, there. Again, I can't show you guys anything gruesome because they'll block me, they'll ban me. You can kind of see the shadow of the bullet right there. There you go. Now, look, I know it's not great quality, and I would show you the other quality that's out there. There you go. So I don't want to give you any quality that's better than that. You're more than welcome to go look and find it. It's there, but I can't give you that. So we have literally the outline of the bullet at this literally 2 frames of the bullet, and that's all you're going to actually get in that footage. There is another guy, I can't think of his name right now, but there's footage out there of more footage of that actual bullet itself. Now, why did I show you this? I'm showing you the flash. I'm showing you exactly where the bullet is, and I have to kind of show you where it's coming from here. You'll notice that right here is the guy with the cell phone, okay? That's sitting right next to Charlie. This is right here, the guy with the cell phone. The bullet is right here, okay? Now, if the bullet is right here, and this is the guy with the cell phone, this is the bullet that's going right towards the back, the top right ear right here, and it's coming down. And remember, in a downward trajectory, all right? I'm going to show you guys something that I think is very important for all of this, and it helped me to piece together kind of what really happened here. So we have 2 things. We have the direction that the direction that the shot is coming from based on the muzzle flash reflection. We have a still frame of the bullet itself. Now, albeit it's not really great in this video, admittedly, because I can't make it great for you guys. I apologize for that. I can only show you where it's at and show you just basically a couple frames. I can't show you anything more than that. So we have the muzzle flash reflection, and I'm calling it a reflection for a reason. We have the bullet itself, and let's go to now we have the infrared beam. Now, when I show you this is what brought me to the conclusion that I came to. Let me see. Now, look, guys, I'm like you. I'm just downloading stuff. I'm trying to figure it out. You guys see? Look, you can look right in here and see what I got going on. Okay. Watch this, guys. Watch very closely. Pay attention. If I can do this off my cell phone, the FBI should be embarrassed. Now, mind you, we're not going to get to this guy up front over here. We're not going to get to him just yet, okay? Let's pause it. I'm going to show you guys something that everybody missed. Shout out to Stephen Ben-Noon. I've been following him for a while now, and Stephen Ben-Noon. And, I'll give a special thanks at the end of the series for everybody that contributed to the information that I'm giving you guys.
So we'll get into this more later. I don't want to spend all of our time on it. I do have this one right here, though, that we'll go ahead and roll. Hold on, if I can get my cursor over here.
Here we go. Watch the shirt. Here it is. See that? A little bumping of the shirt. Right there. Right there. He's already hit, but you see the 2 little dots or the dot that's actually showing up on the screen, skipping off the screen. But he's already hitting the collarbone. Look at it pop out right there. And then he's hit twice. Boom. Excuse me, guys. Sorry. He's hit right here from behind, and this one goes down and through his neck. And look at his neck bulge forward. You can see the bulging forward as he slumps slightly to the left. And as he's doing that, he's then hit by this guy right here. This guy hits him from the front. So how do I know it happened just like this? Excuse me, guys. I apologize for coughing in the mic like that. How do I know that it happened just like this? Okay. Let me pull up another video for you guys so you can see something. I put together a little video just to kind of show. I did a little graphic too, just to kind of show you right here. side, Charlie, this is the guy's arm that we saw in the video. And this guy, I think he's moving off of an audio signal. They all have their microphones on, or they'll have their earpieces on. So they can hear well. And everybody started moving at the same time. This guy put out the signal, I believe, for the BA sniper, so that he can see. I'm about to show you how he positions his body to move it so that the BA sniper can actually see him. He puts himself in the sunlight and he takes a little bit of a step back as he gives the signal to take the shot. Simultaneously, this guy right here hears it come over the microphone, and he turns and he takes his shot with the recoil that comes from his hand from his palm pistol.
Counting or not counting gang violence? Great.
Oh, that really looked like at that time. You know, there's probably 2 or 3 people in the crowd that have a gun.
Hang on.
Oh!
And then they say that you could see. So it looks like he's pretending to pull up his sleeve and he has a palm gun. That's what it looks like. And there's the bullet.
And again, his shot hit second, though. And I'm going to show you exactly where it hit. Matter of fact, let me show you where it hit first. So, I'm not joking with you. Okay. There it is. It was right there the whole time. After the first shot hit him and expanded his neck and put this, what looked like his microphone blew up. Now you guys can see clearly the microphone did not blow up. It's still there. These are little magnets that slide off real easy. Anybody saying that this blew up, that it did not blow up. I don't know if it was set to blow up. That could be another theory, a possibility. Maybe it was a detonated device that just didn't go off in there. I don't know. But I know that it did not cause a discharge that went through Charlie's body or anything like that. So he was not shot with a camera phone from behind. That's not what took him out. He was not blown up by this device right here. That's not what took him out either. But what we all missed was right there in the middle of the screen. When Charlie's shirt was puffed out from getting hit in the back of the head from that first round. Now, mind you, you cannot fake the infrared beam. You can't fake the flash in the window. You can't fake the bullet coming at the same exact trajectory that the infrared beam was on. You cannot fake any of that stuff. If you have a bullet, if you have a gun muzzle flash in the window, and if you have an infrared beam, trust me, the gun is somewhere in that direction, period. If you have a bullet, if you have a muzzle flash reflection, if you have an infrared beam, the gun is in the direction of all of that stuff. And the first thing that you follow is the infrared beam. And that's why I was able to figure out the BA position on the BA building for the sniper. Thank you again, Stephen Ben-Noon. But this guy hits him right here in the front. Now, let me show you guys what that actually looks like so you guys can understand how this ended up, being Charlie's fate, how he got hit twice by these people. And nobody is showing this. This is the first time that this graphic has been shown. It's on We Are Not Going to Mars. That's my channel. This is what I was able to find because people were wondering how this area of the t-shirt went up. I'm going to show you how. All right, guys, let me go ahead and show you real quick, exactly frame by frame. Now that you guys understand where the BA sniper is, now that you also understand where the palm shooter is, let me go ahead and show you guys what it looks like frame by frame so you know how the sniper shot hit first, and you'll understand how the shirt poofed out at the top. As the shirt was poofed out, as it was poofed out, he got hit from here, from about the left-hand side, right near the heart area. That's why I said Charlie Kirk had no chance. He passed away instantly. I'm sure he didn't even feel anything. He was eviscerated from the inside, and then he got basically hit in his heart. I know that's horrible sounding, and it is tragic. It's terrible. But this is what they did to him. This is what they did, and then they blamed it on political stuff and all this. And this is so far beyond politics that this is just evil. So when his shirt was poofed out, mind you, his shirt is poofed out. As his shirt's poofed out, the second shot comes in and hits. Boom. And when it does, it hits. It sends that ripple of it being poofed out up like this, creating a temporary indention in the middle of the shirt and raising it from where it was poofed out. That's exactly what happened, guys. Watch, okay? Just pay attention and watch. Oh, pause that. Listen.
Almost see like.
Hold on. Turn it off. Sorry. He's going to pick up the microphone, and as he's putting it down right here, watch the shirt puff up. Right there, he's hit. Right here, Charlie Kirk is hit. Okay? This is the shot from the sniper. Let me get again, I'm on a cell phone, guys, so just work with me. That's the shot from the sniper right there. Nothing blew up. You can see his thing is still in place. His earpieces flown out at this point in time frame is flying out. Some people thought it was maybe, some splatter coming out of the back of his head. Could be that too. But it's also the earpiece as well. I'll just say that. But the shot came in, and look at his neck expansion. The neck completely expands. And I don't want to get too graphic here, but I want you guys to see how this part of the neck right here is pushed up and to the left, as all of this is right here is kind of blown out, if you will, from the expansion of the bullet dropping down into right here. Okay. Now pay attention to it. Again, I don't want it to be too graphic, but we took out the actual, from where the bullet came out, we took that part out. So here, again, the bullet hits right there. Okay. Now, at this very second, this next second, this is why it was all on cue and for the shots to go off at the same time so that all the shots ended up sounding like one. That is the second that he got hit with the second shot. Boom. Look at that. Center mass, guys. Right there is clear as day. Just like the graphic I showed you. Just so you know, I'm not like altering anything or anything like that. I'm just showing you what's actually there in front of your faces. Like, they want to play us, but they don't understand. Some of us will take the time to go through this stuff frame by frame.
All right, so that's enough of that for tonight, but I'm going to keep going. I have another, I don't know, I have 10, 15 videos, but we'll get into it and I'll condense it. I didn't have time to condense it. I've been super busy. And if you don't know, I have a 7-year-old and he's autistic, and I have a wife and another boy. I mean, we're just busy. So I do the best I can with what I got. And I do this by myself. So I don't have any help. So if anybody wants to get involved, let me know. Also, right now is on the screen is my email. If you have any video of the Charlie Kirk assassination or anything to do with Epstein that I haven't showed you, please send it to me. Just email it to me. That'd be great. I really would appreciate it. And then I can download it and I can bring it and I can investigate it and look at it and see if it's something that's usable. Because really, this whole thing that we're doing is really about citizens journalism working hard to figure out all the lies that are going on. And that's just the truth. It's just lie after lie after lie. That's what they do. They just lie to us. All right, let me mark this. Hold on a second.
A lot to get to, man. I want to get deeper into.
Sorry. Hold on. I'm fucking around here. I got to mark this real quick. All right, thank you. Thanks for being patient. I appreciate it. But it's John, super easy. John, JOHN at inspectorweb.com. That's my email. That's my website. You take the John at out, and that's my website. You can also catch everything that we're doing, all the videos, all my live shows are on there. If there comes a time when you can't get me on the internet for some reason, you can always go to inspectorweb.com and you get all the videos. You can get to my store, all that stuff, inspectorweb.com. But go send me anything you can to John at inspectorweb, please. Appreciate it. Okay, where we at? Let's keep moving here. I got to get back to this because we're running out of time here. Let's see. All right, let me get over here. 7 and yeah, bye.
14 days to flatten the curve. Wear the mask. Take the shot. You can't get COVID. You can't spread it. All horse crap. And they used COVID to derail Trump's last recovery. And now, as I predicted, they're using war to do it.
If you spend too much time on Twitter or get your news from the liberal mainstream media, you may have gotten the impression that the president's supporters are abandoning him in droves over Operation Epic Fury, his war to prevent your grandchildren from having to face off against a nuclear-armed Iran. Our hapless president has been dragged into this war against his will by the nefarious Bibi Netanyahu, according to people like Tucker Carlson, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Megyn Kelly, and now Joe Kent. Alas, none of that is true. The narrative that MAGA is split over Iran, beloved by the liberal media and the anti-Israel far left and right, is complete fiction. Far from a betrayal, poll after poll after poll has found massive, overwhelming support for the president's strikes on Iran among Republican voters, upwards of 85%.
Here's what I tell President Trump. Keep it up for a few more weeks. Take Carg Island, where all of the resources they have to produce oil, control that island, let this regime die on a vine. I trust DOD. We got 2 Marine expeditionary units sailing to this island. We did Iwo Jima. We can do this.
Welcome to Kirk. Thank you all for coming. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.
Trump is against that entire globalist plan of austerity and against their carbon taxes. That's why I've supported him so much, because compared to the Democrats, it's night and day. He really is returning national sovereignty to America and making our own decisions. But my God, then don't make the wrong decisions now that we have a president back in charge. This is so paradoxical, and it's so love-hate for me. And I know I've been right, and I've been proven right again. It's our own government's assessments, for heaven's sakes.
And the last time I saw Charlie Kirk on this earth was in June in the West Wing, in the stairway. And I said hi to him, and he looked me in the eye, and he said very loudly, and it's a small, you've been in the West Wing, it's small, it's a tight space. And he said, Joe, stop us from getting into a war with Iran. Very loudly.
He was single-minded.
And he walked off, and he went, I believe, into the Oval. So when one of President Trump's closest advisors, who is vocally advocating for us to not go to war with Iran and for us to rethink at least our relationship with the Israelis, and then he's suddenly publicly assassinated, and we're not allowed to ask any questions about that.
That's why the head of the Counterterrorism Center, Joe Kent, quit this week, trying to get Trump to pay attention and change course. Instead, they've been attacking him as a traitor and saying he's a leaker with no evidence.
I can say this. He said very strongly that Iran is not a threat. Iran's been a threat for 47 years, and there's not a country in the world that doesn't agree with me on that. So I take this guy, Joe Kent, who lost twice for Congress, pretty badly and tough, and was devastated. And I know that he lost his wife. So instead of letting him live out his life, I brilliantly have my people call him and offer him a job in security, essentially, in the White House. And what does he do? He goes out and he says that Iran is not a threat to get publicity. Now, I probably signed up with CNN.
Joe Kent, the former director of the United States National Counterterror Center, this is from Semaphore, he just resigned. He's now under FBI investigation for allegedly leaking classified information. And the investigation predates his departure.
These opening remarks with one other fake news, and that is that Israel somehow dragged the U.S. into a conflict with Iran. Does anyone really think that someone can tell President Trump what to do? Come on. President Trump always makes his decisions on what he thinks is good for America. And may I add, I think what is also good for future generations.
All the anti-Semites to all the isolationists, I don't believe. Forget it. I'm not with you. I'm with Israel. I will be with Israel to our dying day.
It's the Israel lobby that has the main muscle be pushing this. It's a foreign government. It's illegal as hell. I don't care if it's China, the UK, the EU involved in our politics, and they are too. And it's wrong. We're standing up against that. We're standing up against what Israel's doing. It's wrong, folks. It's unconstitutional. It's illegal, and it's treasonous for anybody that allows foreign governments to run our country. Nobody can disagree with that. That's the facts.
I reckon a lot of you know I've been on the air for a long time.
All right, here we are. Yeah, so Do you believe any of that stuff that they're saying about Joe Kent? Do you believe any of it? Because I don't. My opinion is, and I know my opinion's only my opinion, but I don't believe any of that stuff. And I'm going to show you why here in a minute. But before we do, I want to remind you, or actually, remind you about this right here. Stand by.
Don't shake your finger at me and tell me I'm not an American, pal. I'm related to the people that conquered Europe directly. And I'm an American, and this is our country. And you don't tell me I'm not an American, punk. Don't you do it. Sack of shit. We got a new Trump here. They bubble wrapped him. And you see, he wants the off-ramp. The Iranians don't. Let's play a short clip of Trump talking about globalism. Here it is.
World War III has never been closer than it is right now. We need to clean house of all of the warmongers and America last globalists and the deep state. These globalists want to squander all of America's strength, blood, and treasure, chasing monsters and phantoms overseas. In addition, there must also be a complete commitment to dismantling the entire globalist neocon establishment that is perpetually dragging us into endless wars, pretending to fight for freedom and democracy abroad. Our opponents join with warmongers and neocons to wage endless wars, these wars that never end. Our policy of never-ending war, regime change, and nation building is being replaced by the clear-eyed pursuit of American interests. There you go.
All right, let's stop there.
It is the job of our...
I can play hours of this. Vote for Kamala, it's war with Iran. The neocons, they're the, who is the chief neocon in America now? Because the other ones are dead, Rumsfeld, Cheney, all of them. It's Mark Levin and Benny Shapiro and Dan Borgino, or whatever his name is, Bongiorno. And that's where we are. And they are the good guys, and those of us that supported the old Trump, actually did what he said he would on foreign policy, we're the bad guys. Okay, great. Were we right about what was going to happen? Oh, we were. Because we're informed, we're involved. That's why we supported you. And I knew about this fight last year and told you there was a big fight over Iran going on. And I talked to Charlie Kirk about it. And I can confirm, and Charlie Kirk said it publicly. But the neocons say, no, we're all liars. Bongino says, what does Jones know about the military? Well, what's a New York cop, Secret Service guy know, buddy? What's a fission fusion reactor? What's an X-ray laser? What's a DU meteor gun sabot? What's a hydrogen bomb, nuclear reactor fueled expansion weapon? You don't know jack shit, pal. I knew more about this stuff when I was 10 years old than you do. So, and that's why I'm tomorrow's news today. I'm not in competition with you, but you want to lord over everyone like you're God. And like, who's this guy that just fell off the turnip truck? Does this guy think he's Alex Jones, Bongino says? I got clips of him. I just was the detonator and the initiator on record. The Rand Corporation, the Rockefeller Foundation, it's public, decades ago saying I must be stopped or I'm going to have a successful movement to bring down globalism. What happened, bitches? And I don't toot my horn to toot it. It's like to literally have these nobodies come in here and tell us we're traitors when we've got the pedigree, the long term, the persecution, the prison sentences, the billion-dollar judgments, all of it. We got the scars, pal. We got the track record. How dare you say I'm not an American or Joe Kent? My family came here on both sides on the Mayflower, buddy pal. My family in England invented the stock exchange. I'm related to William the Conqueror and the old kings of England. My family raised Colonel Travis and shipped in 2 boats of Protestant Bibles under the orders of Andrew Jackson to prepare the war to take this from Mexico in a decade program. You don't know shit about America. You don't get more thoroughbred, buddy. Look at it. This is it. Not bragging. But when he's Lord of the Rings thing, I'm the heir of Isildur, not you. Hey, I love Italian Americans, some of the best people I know. But buddy, your family just got off the Sicilian boat. You want to call people that protest you Mongols? Nothing against you, bro. I think it's cool you're half black. Probably got a foot-long dick. The point is that I don't want to hear your shit anymore. Your beady little eyes and all the rest of it. I love the fact the Moors conquered Sicily. You ought to be a proud African American. Just don't shake your finger at me and tell me I'm not an American, pal. I'm related to the people that conquered Europe directly. And I'm an American, and this is our country. And you don't tell me I'm not an American, punk. Don't you do it. Sack of shit.
I guess Alex Jones is a little wound up today. Anyway, I played that because it's a perfect intro to what's going on. You got Bongino and, all these, Benny or Ben Shapiro and all these war hawks and, all these people that were non-Trump. They were, what do you call it? They were all never Trumpers in the 16. I'll never vote for Trump. Now they're sucking his dick. I said it last week or the other day, whatever day it was when I called Bongino out. You don't know what you're talking about, buddy. Like, you have no idea what you're getting yourself into, because we are Americans, we are patriots, and we are the movement. Anybody that would say that the things that you said, and I'll just be clear, you said that there was nothing in the Epstein files, that Jeffrey Epstein didn't traffic any kids to anyone, but Ghislaine Maxwell was in prison, or, at least sentenced to 20 years. But we know that she's got a body double and she's not in prison because they've spotted her in fucking Israel. So anyway, we can get into all that, but that's for another show, another time. There's a lot of stuff that people don't know. These warmongers, these Israel first people, they think they're running something, but really they just look stupid when they do this. So anyway, I just needed to say that because I'm on the bandwagon, I guess. I'm get on my soapbox for a minute and let you know the truth about America first. America first. Not Israel first, not China first, not Mexico first, not anything except for America first. That's the way it should be. And that's the way we stand. America first. Am I clear? Stand by.
We have a drastically different strategic goal than the Israelis do. So we will say that Israel is our ally in this. They're basically our co-equal in this. People like me will say, actually, we're not really even co-equals. They're leading because we're having to react to them. But either way, we're basically joined at the hip with the Israelis. Now, the problem is they have a much different strategic goal and a much, I'd say, higher threshold and tolerance for chaos and bloodshed than we do. Now, we have stated that our strategic goal, you'll hear Secretary Hegseth rattle these off at his morning briefings that he gives to the media. It's to destroy the Iranian Navy, to destroy the IRGC, to destroy their ballistic missile capability, to destroy all their enrichment. So we kind of have a checklist of like things that we want to bomb essentially to take off the battlefield. That's about as far as we've gone with stating what our strategic goal is, which I think is a big problem that we have with the GWAT is we never really said what our strategic goal was. Obviously there was get bin Laden and make sure the homeland isn't attacked. But I just remember being in Iraq being like, well, what's the goal here? Like we're building a government. So same thing. We didn't really learn that lesson. We haven't stated our strategic goal. The Israelis, as critical as I am of our relationship with the Israelis have a very clear strategic goal. And that is to take out this regime lock, stock, and barrel. That's to get rid of the Ayatollahs, the clerical class that rules over, and then also the IRGC, which is a huge lift. It's a big country. Those institutions are massive. They've got a lot of support, but that's the Israelis' goal. Now, the Israelis don't really care necessarily if that happens and Iran then slips into chaos and the Straits of Hormuz remains inflamed and there's a migration crisis, and there's an ongoing war. The Israelis don't care about that. They care that the IRGC and the Ayatollahs can no longer fund their proxies or cause them problems inside of Israel. So again, you've got us footing the bill, doing the majority of the combat, doing the dying, doing the fighting. We have a very, very murky strategic objective, whereas the Israelis are driving this. They're driving essentially our commitment of combat power. They're driving us having people lose their lives. They have a very clear strategic objective. And this is why I say the number one thing we have to do in order to get out of this is to restrain the Israelis and get our relationship with Israel straight. Otherwise, it's all going to be for naught, and we're going to continue to get sucked in further and further.
I mean, if we're attached hip to hip with them, I mean, it's got to be the same goal, right?
You would think, but it's not.
Is it just not articulated, or is it really not?
I feel like it's truly not, and the Israelis don't have a hard time articulating what their goal is.
Oh, I mean, us articulating.
Yeah, so we just list off the tactical punch list of things we want to bomb to take out so that the Iranians don't have any more. And to me, that's not a real strategic goal.
You know, I want to bring out this up. You had a really good article in the Washington Post. I think it released today, but you were talking about some strategy here, and that made me think the potential deployment of U.S. ground troops makes me very nervous.
Yeah.
Citing recent reporting that the president is considering seizing Karg Island, Iran's main hub for oil exports. This is you quoted. I just think that would be a disaster, Kent said, of deploying U.S. troops there. It would essentially be giving Iran a bunch of hostages on an island that they could barrage with drones and missiles. Are you the only fucking person up there that's thinking straight? Because that's exactly what would happen. 100%. You're putting U.S. service members in a fishbowl for Iran to kill because they're stranded on a fucking island.
Yeah, I mean,
this is our strategy.
Yeah,
who came up with this fucking strategy?
It sounds like
Trump.
It sounds like Lindsey Graham. I mean, Lindsey Graham was on the Sunday shows yesterday talking about how great it would be. It would be just like Iwo Jima. I mean, just insanity. And I mean, I don't think the people who are pragmatic and are expressing their concerns, I don't believe they're being listened to. Now, obviously, the administration will push back and say, no, we're doing robust planning and we're hearing all voices, et cetera. But when I see ideas like that floated, and there's much worse ones out there as well, basically most of the formulas for putting boots in the ground inside of Iran are problematic. I guess is too late of a way to put it. They're bad plans.
They've already stated they want us to do it. They're ready for it.
100%. I mean, that would be handing Iran basically a strategic victory. Because once they get our troops on the ground there, they're going to be able to kill some of them. We're going to take losses. And then we fall back into that cycle. Once we take losses somewhere, we say, oh, no, now we can't leave. We have to stay to avenge our fallen. It can't be all for nothing. We have to stay. We have to keep fighting. We saw this over and over again in the GWAT. Every single time we talked about any kind of withdrawal in Iraq or Afghanistan, it was the same argument. We've lost too much here. There's still more that we could do. So, I mean, in terms of the Karg Island, that makes me nervous because I have heard so many people like Lindsey Graham and others that are not military people, that are not in the Pentagon, that are not reading intelligence every day, talk about it very flippantly. Like, oh, we'll just take that island. We'll just take their oil. I want to tell you guys, like, it's not 2003 anymore. You can't just put guys there and they'll occupy it. Like, there's ballistics, there's drones. They would be sitting ducks in that area. And as a matter of fact, like you said, the Iranians would probably be like, please take the island. We'll roll out the red carpet for you guys.
I mean, do I need
Yeah, so it's a long clip. I want to come in for a minute. This is a very long clip, but the context that he's talking about is so important. I was going to cut it, and I was like, you know what? No, I'll just do the whole thing because it's so important what he's talking about. Because you got Lindsey Graham and the the whining, screaming what the hell's his name? Why can't I think of his name right now? But anyway, they're all over there talking about taking over a island off the coast of Iran, knowing that those mountains in Iran are full of missiles. I mean, like, they open the fucking thing up and they just shoot, 500 missiles all at once. And then they close it and then they go to the next spot and they fire, a bunch of missiles. And then they go to the next spot. They are fortified over there. And you're talking about sending our troops to an island that's surrounded. It's a bloodbath to do something like that. That is the stupidest idea I've ever heard. And you heard what he said, that it'd be like shooting fish in a barrel. Why would anybody listen to that? And I hope Trump is not following that. What the hell is his name? No, I can't think of his name. It's not good. I'll think of it here in a minute. But Ben Shapiro and Lindsey Graham and what the hell is his name? Why can't I think of his name? I probably blocked it because he's such an idiot. And I used to always think that he was kind of decent because he was a constitutionalist. He always talked about the Constitution and stuff. But what the hell is his fucking name? I'll think of it in a minute here and I'll tell you. But I'm just saying, let's continue.
To read your bio again? Why is he taking advice from Lindsey Graham and Ted Cruz and whoever else that's just career bureaucrats?
This is the problem.
And then you got a guy like you in there with tons of experience in war and intelligence.
Yeah. And there's others too. There's plenty of us in there that can give him much better advice. I just hope the president reflects, and I know he's mad at me. I hope he reflects, and I hope he looks at the advisors he has around him currently that got him to the state that we're in right now, because we're not in a good state. He knows that, and he needs to start listening to people that are going to give him better advice that can give us a clear pathway out of this.
Who are some people that would give him better advice other than yourself?
Vice President DNI Gabbard and their teams, I think, are absolutely key.
The vice president and the DNI.
And the DNI, yeah. Yep. And there's good people at the Pentagon that can give you options.
So he's not taking advice from his own vice president?
I don't know. I wasn't at the vice president's level. I think they have a good relationship. Based on what I've seen and based on what we've seen in the public sphere, he has been taking more advice, obviously, from Lindsey Graham, from Ted Cruz, from Mark Levin on TV, than he has been from people who may say, "Hey,
Mark
sir."
Levin on TV. That's who he's getting advice from. Fucking.
In terms of how easy and great of an idea this will be. I mean, so the media ecosystem, they're not giving him tactical military advice, but they were, I believe, in my opinion, a big part of echoing the Israeli talking points about no enrichment. You have to strike now. If you strike now, you'll be a hero. There was also this false narrative basically that said, like, hey, because the people were on the streets in January, if you take a couple strikes right now and you really hammer them, the rest is going to be easy. It's going to be a cakewalk. The people are going to rise up. They're going to overthrow the regime. They're going to love you. They're going to cut a deal. It's going to be quick and easy like Venezuela was. I think Venezuela did a lot to give us some false confidence in how quick and easy a regime change, regime modification, whatever you want to call it, can be. So people like Levin, people on, Fox, New York Post, New York Times, et cetera, a lot of those talking heads, coincidentally, not so coincidentally, a lot of them were the same people who talked us into the Iraq war, convinced them how quick and easy this would be. But I mean, to your point, I think if he took some more advice from Vice President, from DNI Gabbard and their teams, I think we'd be in a much better spot, and I think we'd be able to carve our way out of this mess.
Man, wow. How many troops do we have over there right now waiting? Is it 2,500 Marines?
I don't know. I mean, I see what you see on the news. I'm disconnected from all that.
How many has Israel sent?
Far less than us. Most of their military operations are taking place in Lebanon. They're doing a lot of air support and power projection via air, which is heavily funded by us.
Are they talking about
into
sending
into-
ground force?
If they could, it'd be tiny. They just don't have. I mean,
Oh, so we'll do it.
So
We'll do it.
we would have to do it. Yeah,
Oh,
100%.
okay.
I mean,
So
they
we'll
might
do it for them.
They could do a commando raid or something. You know, that'd be about it. But in terms of any kind of meaningful hold ground, even for a limited amount of time, that would have to be American boots.
Oh, okay. That's kind of what I thought, but you know, I'm getting angry, Joe.
I can tell. I hear you, man.
Really
I hear you.
fucking angry. But oh man, it just no new wars. It just echoes in my head all day long.
Yeah.
And here we are, right back in war.
Completely avoidable. And I pray again he listens to some of the voices that can get him out of this. I think there's still time, but this is very bad, and this could get worse. And I think platforms like yours are important because people like you, but big podcasts. I think you guys brought a lot of people out to vote for President Trump, and I think it's really important that all the people that are watching this show and all the other podcasts call their senators, call their representatives, make their voice heard, because there is again that media ecosystem that kind of exists oddly in the White House. We've got to penetrate through that. They were listening during the campaign, and I think they'll listen again if people take this as a call to action.
No matter where you're watching the Sean Ryan show from,
Yeah, so boots on the ground, boots in the ground on the ground in Iran is the worst idea ever. It just is. Like, I've talked to a lot of different vets about this, and I wish some of them would come on the show, but they're still, they might have to go back, and so they don't want to muddy the waters if they might have to go back to fight in this war. So it makes no sense why they would do this, and why Trump thinks that he can get out of this by just making a deal when they're not willing to make a deal with any of us. I mean, they're just not. So it's very, very sticky for sure. Definitely tough. So stand by. I want to play this clip real quick. Remember in 2020 when they were talking about flatten the curve, they were talking about first I think it was 3 days, then 14 days, and then 2 months, and then 6 months. I mean, remember that whole thing? Well, now they're doing it with war.
If you thought the COVID 2 weeks to flatten the curve mantra was the ultimate con to get you to accept lockdowns and restrictions and total control, just wait, guys, because they just dropped the sequel. And this time, it's short-term pain for long-term gain.
This is a short-term disruption for the long-term gain.
Short-term pain for the long-term gain.
Short-term pain be for long-term gain.
We're going to have some short-term pain with long-term gain.
Short-term pay for a long-term gain.
Some short-term pain, yes, but we've got some long-term gain. Short-term spike for a long-term gain.
Some short-term pain for American consumers. We may have to deal with that in the short term. Short-term and temporary.
Temporary short-term pain.
It's going to suck in the short term.
Some short-term pain.
Short-term pain. We have to focus on the short-term.
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 Short-term. Short-term and long-term.
Short-term
blip. Hopefully this is a short-term pain. Short-term is highly outweighed of the long-term benefits.
Some short-term pain for the long-term gain.
Yes, you heard that correctly. The exact same script has just been rebranded, and they're not even trying to hide it anymore. The problem, reaction, solution playbook is back in full force. And this time, the problem is war. The Iran conflict that they've been engineering for years now has generated the exact reaction they wanted. Panic, shortages, and the perfect excuse for the next phase, energy lockdowns.
Take a look at those Bowsers. You can see that every single one of those has either covered up or they have a sign on it saying no petrol. Everything is out of service. There is no fuel whatsoever here.
The state premiers are calling for a national response cam as more stations are running dry.
Yeah, and Kieran, Chris Bowen there telling you that there is a lot of planning going on behind the scenes and wargaming about potential responses.
Look at this clip from India. Absolute pandemonium. A massive crowd panic buying gas because of widespread rumors of an imminent fuel shortage. People are losing their minds. They're filling up every container they can find. And this is just the beginning. And this is not just India. They're showing you the reaction that they manufactured so that you will beg for the solution. New Zealand is staring down the barrel, on track to run out of fuel in about 19 days. Their own government data and the fuel clock are screaming it. Just-in-time supply chains are collapsing exactly as planned. Here's the map of where energy lockdowns have already begun. 4-day work weeks, schools closed, rationing, empty pumps, price surges. The dominoes are falling in real time. And this tweet right here lays it out perfectly. Day 26 of the Hormuz blockade. 20% of global oil is gone. With a country-by-country breakdown, Sri Lanka is rationing. There's crisis in Pakistan. India is down to 9 days of reserves. Japan lied about their numbers. The UK is facing shortages starting in April. The real energy crisis hasn't even started yet, and they're not showing you the full picture. They're showing you reserves are sufficient while the shelves empty and the panic sets in. Even Larry Fink, the man controlling $11 trillion at BlackRock, just came right out and said a global recession could be the outcome of this war.
We have two very extreme outcomes. And in my conversations throughout the world with the U.S. government, all that, to me, everybody has to recognize there's not going to be an outcome that's somewhere in the middle. It's going to either be two extremes. Is Iran a country that can be accepted by the international community? Can Iran be a country that participates in the world again? And if that outcome occurred, then you could have the Iranian oil back into the marketplace alongside what the growth of the Venezuelan oil. And you could paint a picture where oil prices could be lower than they were prior to the Iranian war. If there's a cessation of war, and yet Iran remains a threat to trade, a threat to the Straits of Hormuz, then I would argue that we could have years of, above $100, closer to $150 oil.
What happens to the global economy if that happens? How do we see it?
We'll have global recession.
And as if that wasn't bad enough, now the International Energy Agency dropped their report titled Sheltering from Oil Shocks, where they openly recommend full lockdown-style measures like work from home where possible, lower speed limits, reduce driving, cut back on flying, even alternate day driving bans. This is COVID 2.0, my friends, with an energy crisis mask. They're telling governments to prepare the exact same restrictions that we went through in 2020. But this time, it's for your own good because of the oil shock. But we're not stupid. We've seen this movie before. And now, to really sell the fear, they're flooding social media with fake AI videos of people hoarding gas at gas stations.
You gotta be kidding me, mate. Hey, you gonna leave anything left for me? Hey, don't take all that fuel, mate. What about me? God damn it, man. He's leaving nothing. He's taking it all. Greed. You greedy man. You greedy man.
Now watch this one with the exact same audio, the exact same van, filled with the exact same gas cans. Only this time, it's different people with added confrontations.
You gotta be kidding me, mate. Hey, you gonna leave anything left for me? You gotta be kidding me, mate. Hey, you gonna leave anything left for me? Hey, don't take all that fuel, mate. What about me? Hey, don't take all that fuel, mate. What about me? God damn it, man. He's leaving nothing. He's taking it all. God damn it, man. He's leaving nothing. He's taking it all.
What the fuck are you recording? What are you doing? Come out of the car, have a crack. The fuck's your problem?
Greed. You greedy man.
You wanna be a fucking Karen and record? Get out of the car, cunt. Get out of the car, you Karen. Come here. What are you gonna do?
You greedy man. Greed. You greedy man. You greedy man.
So why are they doing this? Well, here's what you have to understand. The Iran war isn't about Trump versus Netanyahu versus Iran. That's just the puppet show. That's the us versus them distraction that they want you mesmerized by. But you have to look at the shadows on the wall of Plato's cave. Always look at the outcome and not the theater. This is about artificial scarcity, engineered shortages, and energy lockdowns. They create the problem, generate the reaction, and then roll out the solution. The perfect excuse to push digital IDs for fuel rationing, central bank digital currencies for fair distribution, trackable carbon allowances, and the full New World Order control grid that they've been building for decades. This is the plan unveiled. The problem is war, the reaction is lockdowns, and the solution is total centralized control. The plan is being unveiled right in front of our eyes, guys. Short-term pain for their long-term gain. But we don't have to play along. We've been here before. Non-compliance worked the last time, and it will work again. Support local farms and learn to grow your own food. Use cash at every chance you get, and reject the digital prison that they're trying to sell you as shelter from the shock. Guys, please share this video far and wide and help me raise awareness about what we're dealing with here. Make sure you subscribe to me for more unfiltered truth and video reports. And if you're paying attention to the precious metals market, you'll know that right now is an amazing buy the dip opportunity with gold and silver currently on sale. So please visit pressfortruth.ca/gold, where you can protect your wealth with precious metals moving forward. So thanks for watching, guys. Stay.
All right. So, same scene, right? It's the same scene, buy all the toilet paper, it's the same thing. Buy all the, all the hand dispenser, hand sanitizer, all that stuff, take your clothes off before you come in the house, put them directly into the washing machine so you don't spread it, right? All that stuff. Remember that what was going on? I know we don't have amnesia, but he's right. They are pushing this, and not to say that they aren't blowing shit up over there, because they are, but what he's saying is this the scare tactics to get everybody fear mongering and against each other's throat is what the plan is, and then they can create lockdowns. All these foreign countries, they're all headed that direction now. We have to be aware of what's going on and not comply with this stuff. Like, we really do. So yeah, it's a good idea to share this video everywhere and talk to people about it so that we don't end up like we did in 2020 or 2021 or 2022 or 2023 and open borders and all the stuff that happened back then. If you remember, I remember very clearly what was going on. Anyway, I just wanted to share that with you because I thought it was very important that we, pay attention. Now check this out. I've been following McGregor for a while, and when he talks, I listen. Now, there's obviously there's different sides of this war, and people have different context about what's going on and all that stuff. But his take, let's listen to what his take is on this, on Donald J. Trump and what's going on with this whole thing of enrichment.
I think we have to understand that we're dealing with Hunter Biden levels of corruption now in the Trump White House. Let me explain why. You put the oil trade up there. There was a bet that the price of oil would tank That was a bet of about 150 million. Another bet was placed that the market would lift, in other words, rise dramatically. That was a $1.5 billion bet. Now, whenever you bet in the market, which is effectively what it's about, it's a big casino. You know, for those who are only in it for casino purposes, as opposed to others that draw income from it over time. What we need to understand is that you bet less on the downside and bet more on the upside. So the $150 million bet paid off because somebody within 3 or 4 minutes of President Trump's announcement knew what President Trump was going to announce. The same thing was true for the 1.05 billion bet that you've got up there now. Both of these bets paid off handsomely. Now, who in the White House could possibly have known, and who in the White House has access to that kind of capital that could have a stupendous impact on profits? Well, I'll let everybody in the audience sort of let that sink in, think about it, and understand that in a normal setting, were this to happen, I would say 50 years ago, 100 years ago, maybe even 30 years ago, the Attorney General would be sitting at his desk or her desk and receive a note saying, we have witnessed this unnatural market behavior that's resulting in mega profits. And it all seems to come right before the president makes an announcement. We feel this justifies an investigation. Well, I don't think with Pam Bondi in there's any chance of that investigation happening on the executive side. Now, then the question is, well, what about Congress? Will someone in Congress stand up and say, look at this, this is outrageous? Maybe, but it's unlikely that it will gain much traction because the population of people that sit on the Hill in Congress are busy with insider trading. In other words, everyone in Washington is profiting one way or another from the disasters that are unfolding in front of us on the Hill and here, you know, in the Middle East and here at home. So I really, really want the MAGA crowd to pay attention to this because they've been taken in badly by this president, misused, abused, and exploited. They need to wake up and understand the kind of Hunter Biden level of corruption that they're dealing with in the Trump White House.
Yeah. So, if you're a betting man, you know, betting on the markets is a sure way to make a lot of money when you know that they're going to keep bombing, right? And I think it's insider trading. I don't know. I don't know enough about the markets and all that stuff to know exactly what's going on, but I know that that when what was it? Was it I know Lutnick made like $1.5 billion after that something didn't pass that. What was it? Was it the not the SAVE Act? What the hell was it? That he had his kids bet against it. What the hell was it, man? I can't think of what it is. Shit. I know John would remember, but he's not here tonight, so we'll table that and we'll get back to it. But this is what they do. They use the money, or they use these situations to become millionaires, billionaires, or, you know, to make billions of dollars on our, you know, on our backs, basically. And that's what he's saying. So anyway, Michael Yon gives a warning about famine and basically runaway escalation. Stand by. Yeah. Come on.
I think we're going to end up seeing significant famines, which is something I've been warning about for 6 years now. I think it's going to be huge. And in fact, I think I've been warning about this specific case right here with the Strait of Hormuz being closed and then followed by the Turkish Strait. Now, look, apparently from what's being reported, I'm looking at another screen here. A ship apparently was attacked by a drone or drones near the Turkish Strait, Bosphorus, right? And I
Really?
mean, that's a pretty big deal. And it's a very big deal. And again, specifically, this is what I've been warning about for years. If you see Strait of Hormuz and the Turkish Strait get closed, not to mention the Suez Canal and the Bab el-Mandeb and Panama, I mean, I think there's a high chance we're going to end up seeing something happen in Panama to the canal, and also Strait of Malacca, of course. And so I was just up at the Danish Strait looking at this with my wife, Masako, because we think also Danish Strait will end up being interrupted. In any case, these are things that I've been talking about for years. And now to see this, I mean, just in, almost every day now, I say, the Turkish Strait, if that gets interrupted, of course, what's the big deal about the Turkish Strait? The most famous battle of World War I happened to keep that waterway open, right? Gallipoli. I think a lot of people have heard of that one. And that was all about that, right? Keeping that specific waterway open for the same reasons that it's so important to close. For instance, huge amount of the global fertilizer comes through that strait from Ukraine and Russia. And so, that's a pretty significant deal right there. And it's clear that, as you already know, there are people that are trying to create global famine. If you want to do this, some of the things that you would do would be get rid of Nord Stream, check. Groningen gas field, check. Burn down fertilizer plants all over the world, check. How many? I've lost count. Interrupt pipelines, keep on. Finally, if I were doing it, I would go for Strait of Hormuz. And then I would block Turkish Strait. I would block Suez, Bab el-Mandeb, Gibraltar, even Hamburg. That's why we were just recently in Hamburg looking at that. Hamburg, Germany is the third largest harbor in Europe and the biggest in Germany. I would definitely go for Rotterdam and Antwerp and the Danish Strait, Strait of Malacca, of course, and Panama. Panama is a big deal for food, because a lot of the food from South America flows through there, especially, as you know, South America is on a reverse growing season from us because they're on the opposite side of the equator. And so, when we're not producing as much, they're producing a lot. And so that's very important for Europe and Asia and the United States and Canada. And so an interruption of the Panama Canal actually would be quite simple. I spend a lot of time down there, going through the canal and down the Darien Gap and flying over the canal in helicopters and going through the canal in boats and that sort of thing. Actually, my wife, Masako, actually opened one of the gates to the Panama Canal. We got into one of the control towers and they let her push the button and watch, the ship coming through. I mean, we've seen the canal in great detail. And of course, since the Panama Canal opened in 1914, there has been people that have wanted to close it, and especially in World War II. Luckily, it never happened. And that canal is built so ingeniously, it's never had any severe problems, actually. It's just an unbelievable work of art. But, look at the Ever Given when it comes to the Suez. The Ever Given that, blocked the Suez there for a spell, the Ever Given ship, for those who remember what happened, I think, because I don't really know why that happened, but I think probably what happened was the Zionists were probably trying to make a reason for making the Ben Gurion Canal, because they want to make another canal through, and which has been a dream. That canal through Israel has been a dream for generations, the Ben Gurion Canal. And when you block the Suez, you can do multiple things at once. One is you can see how the world reacts to that, how, which way do the flows go. So that's one thing you can do. And also you can make a case for starting getting, funding for the Ben Gurion Canal. And so that would actually, so the things that are happening right now are there's a lot of things happening at once. One of those things is to create global famine. That's obvious. And actually, that's why we've been so accurate with our predictions. Not because we're geniuses. It's just because we do what your dad does.
You read it.
We actually read. That's right. We read the enemy. I mean, your dad said that for years.
Yes.
I mean, so we just read what the enemy tells us they're going to do. And then we go look and we see actually they're actually doing it.
While other networks lie to you about what's happening now.
Yeah. So all that stuff, man, is what can I say? You want to make sure that you have restorable food, you have a water source. Now, this My Patriot Supply has these water filters. They are gravity fed water filters. They take no electricity. They're relatively inexpensive. They come with 4 filters, and they come in a tank. You pour water in the top. It goes through the filters. It handles like 200 different sediments to run the water, to filter the water, and it tastes better than any water I've ever tasted. Really, we use it all the time. And you probably want to have one if in case something like this famine or something happens. Go to the description in the show notes and check it out. Just look and see if it's something that you can afford. I mean, there's no harm in looking. Maybe you'll find something in there that you could use. Use my code, you get like 45% off, I think it is right now. And just be prepared, man. That's all I could say is be more prepared than not. Because if you're not prepared, you're kind of screwed when and if this really comes true. Because they've been talking about famine for years, but with what's going on right now, we're pretty damn close to nuclear war. So I mean, I don't know. Anyway, thank you for being here. God bless you all. Thank you for hanging out with me. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed. It costs nothing to subscribe. Please leave a comment, comment, do all that stuff. It helps the algorithm. Thank you very much. We'll be back tomorrow night. We're going to get into some more Charlie Kirk stuff. We'll pull the other half of that, or a third of it probably. There's so much to get through. Just that guy's, just what his investigation is on it. It's really good. We just touched the very tip of the surface on this. So we're going to get into it. We're going to get to a point where we're going to know who took the shot and everything. So that's what we're working on. God bless you all. Have a good night. God bless you. Have a great Saturday afternoon. We'll see you tomorrow night. Good night.